We are building homes of the future. We are progressively moving towards sustainability rather than culpability and responsibility for failure. I don't want to have to get called back to fix a column that I just poured 10 years earlier. I want that column to be there for 100 to 200 years. No spalling, no decay, no nothing. Okay, so I'm Travis, and what you guys see here is a load of MST bar, fiberglass rebar, delivered for our house project here. We just uncovered everything, but this is what it looks like when it comes off the truck. If you can tell, these bundles, each of these bundles contain significantly more sticks of fiberglass rebar than the steel counterpart. If all of this was steel, each one of these bundles would only be a couple of these smaller bundles. And so you'd have a lot more unloading and loading. Whereas with this stuff, they picked up 2 of these per forklift load, unloaded it off the truck right here, set it on our stickers. We wrapped it up to keep the UV off of it. But just the ease of use from getting it from the truck down on the ground, this was as easy as it could be. Took us maybe 10-15 minutes to get it all off the truck and onto here. Now what we have to do is take all of these pieces, bring them over here to the assembly line. Here we have Fenton assembling one of the tie beam cages that's going to go across the tops of all the columns. We have 6 number 6 bars, and after that we have 2 number 4 bars in the middle. Each of these tie beam cages are 20 feet long. If these were steel cages, we wouldn't even be able to get them off of the sawhorses onto the ground once complete. And right now, I can grab 2 of these cages, back them up, and easily walk 2 cages over to where we need to go. Oh, maybe right here we'll do one at a time. And I'm pretty sure I could even bench press this thing. Ugh. I mean, you can't hold a steel tie beam cage over your head like that. So the ease of transportation and logistics makes it so much easier. So that's getting it to the staging area. The final home for these are going to be on tops of all these columns. We've got all our stub outs. What's nice is I didn't have to do any of those bends. Everything's pre-bent, pre-cut for me. And when we go to actually place these up in there, I don't need a mechanical lift to do that. 2 of us on 2 ladders can walk up and set these cages in, no problem. Also too, if this was all steel rebar, you can see what steel does. This is steel. Steel rusts. There's the ocean. If this was all steel rebar, all of this would be rusted by now. Just within the couple weeks it's been sitting here, I would have had to pay thousands of dollars to OSFA or coat all the steel rebar. And now I don't have to do that. I build it, I set it here, I place it in, and I'm done. I don't have to do anything else. So many attributes for this fiberglass rebar. Just even in the way we tie it. I mean, it's so easy for us to use these zip ties. We can put the zip ties faced in and we don't have to cut them. If we want, we can go around and cut them, put them nice and neat. But no steel wires, no dirty hands. We can handle this all day long and our hands will never be dirty. I mean, well, greasy and oily. They'll be a little bit dirty, but it's not like steel rebar where when you're done at the end of the day, your whole hand is black to your wrist. That's no fun. So a lot of my guys are out of high school. Stevie, say hi. Alex is over there too. He's hiding from the camera. They're a lot more excited to build a house out of this stuff than they are steel rebar. If they had to use big grinders and cutters and all that equipment to cut this stuff and assemble it, they're turned off by that. Telling them it's just a bunch of plastic and zip ties, they're like, okay, let's do this. Let's put it together. Stevie personally tied, I mean, every one of these columns has a cage in the ground, has a cage in the column. Stevie personally tied half or more of all this stuff. Him and Fenton have been the only ones tying all this stuff. And that's another attribute of the production value of it. Fenton is actually doing a project not far from here for another contractor that's using steel rebar. Fenton can't even take one 8-foot auger cast off the horse and onto the ground. He was carrying 4 of my auger casts at one time from over there to over here where they go. Same with the column cages. So if that's not enough proof in the pudding, I don't know what is. It's like, yeah, you pay for it up front, but you end up saving money in the long run within a few months compared to a steel rebar product. So one of the big sticker shocks of fiberglass rebar to steel rebar is the cost of it. And when you're proposing a cost to build a house for a client and they see a big number for the rebar, it throws up some red flags at first. And what you have to do is explain to them that yes, with the fiberglass rebar, you're putting up an upfront cost, but within a few months' time, you get all of that cost back plus some. So as an example, all the rebar that you see for this house was delivered at once, sitting over in that pile. That pile was $57,000. If I had gotten all of this in steel rebar, that cost would have been $37,000. If I had gotten steel rebar, I would have had to OSFA or coat the rebar to prevent it from spalling. That's an additional $15,000. Just right there, we're $52,000 to $57,000. Now you take into consideration that we can carry 4, sometimes 6, sometimes 8 cages, one guy. That extra $5,000 is instantly gone, is eaten up just from the pure fact of logistics of getting it from where it's being built to where it's going to be installed at. Have you ever seen furry concrete? The reason all this is sticking here is there's fiberglass fibers inside the concrete that provide so much additional support for the concrete. It's kind of hard to see, but my concrete's furry. It's because we use a 5,000 PSI mix with 2 pounds of fibers per yard. That's the most my pump can pump through here. And that gives us a rock solid column. And all the concrete, the tie beams, even the concrete inside my Fox block and my quad deck, all 5,000 PSI with fibers. Couple that with the fiberglass rebar, we've got a rock solid column that's never going to spall. It's going to be here for 100 to 200 years. I like it. I like it a lot. Every hurricane code that Florida has been adopted from California's earthquake code. And Florida didn't adopt many building codes until the late 90s because in the early to mid 90s, the frequency and severity of storms were becoming more frequent and more intense. And they were seeing coastal communities wiped out at a scale they had never seen before. And so that prompted them to start adopting rigorous building codes. And they took every hurricane building code from California's earthquake code. And in the state of Florida, for your contractor's license, you have to test on California earthquake code. So Florida is playing catch up a little bit, but this is the perfect area because of the salty environment to rapidly start adopting this form of building. But it's challenging because even with our local lumber stores supplying this, that pissed off the steel mills and the steel industry. And the steel industry sent bulldogs down here to our lumber store to bully them into not selling this product. So right now what we're seeing, this is akin to the solar panel and oil industry. When solar panels first came about, the oil industry fought really hard to keep solar panels not accessible to the public. And when solar panels first came out, they were really expensive. Well, fast forward 20 years where we're at now, solar panels are as cheap as ever, and more people are using them, and the oil companies are getting slowly pushed out. And that's where we're at with this. This will become popular. This will become massively adopted, and the steel companies are going to slowly get pushed out. So it's kind of a twofold thing of experience. California had a lot more experience in hurricanes than Florida had California had a lot more experience with earthquakes than Florida had with hurricanes. And so that experience level, Florida is playing catch up. And on an industry level, the steel companies are still lobbying and pushing really hard to have steel rebar. So that's why it's taken a while for it to become popular down here.